Hi everybody and welcome back to another Legends of Runeterra video. So today we're going to be going over the card reveals from the past couple of days. We've only really got two cards for the past 2 days. Two cards each for the past 2 days, so 4 cards total. Which I've got to say, we were pretty top heavy when they started doing the initial reveals for this. We got the two champions fairly early on that we have revealed, and had like 8 cards associated with those, and now the past couple of days only 2 cards each. So we'll have to wait and see what happens these next couple of days. Should be finishing up these card reveals. We're probably not getting another champion, but there's a lot of people speculating there may be a third one. I'm a little skeptical just because the event really focuses at the moment, especially like a lot of the art. It focuses on Akshan and Viego, and there's not like another champion in the game that could be released to Legends of Runeterra. I'm all for it, but yeah, still a little skeptical, so we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, so we got a couple more Shadow Isles cards. We got Piltover Zion card, and we've got a Targon card. So let's start here on the left-hand side with today's reveals. So Invasive, Hydrovine, and Withering Mist. These two were revealed in conjunction with a new Thresh skin. You guys can go check that out. So Invasive, Hydrovine, Shadow Isles, Fearsome, a 7/6. So stat line's okay. The keyword Fearsome, it helps a little bit, but is a little bit less meaningful late in the game when you're going to be playing this. When I'm summoned or round start, summon an Encroaching Mist, and this is where really the ability is becoming very strong. So Viego's coming out on turn 5. We have the Camavorran Soldier as well, which is summoning an Encroaching Mist. And in case you guys, does it have the token here? Yeah, the Encroaching Mist. So in case you guys forget, when I'm summoned, grant all allied Viegos and other Encroaching Mists everywhere +1/+1. So at this point in the game, when we play the Invasive Hydrovine, there's a good chance that we've summoned 3 or 4, I would say, on average, if we're playing the Invasive Hydrovine on curve. Because Viego, each round, the first time an ally dies, summon an Encroaching Mist, and then, like I said, the Camavorran Soldier. There's a good chance we've got 3 or 4, and then the Invasive Hydrovine is an engine itself where it's going to be summoning these Encroaching Mists, and works really well with Viego's level up. So, yeah, because these Encroaching Mists are going to get more and more powerful. He needs to have seen total allies with 20 or more total power die, and so this compounds the Encroaching Mists as they come out. So this could really speed up Viego's level up. Now, the problem that I have with it is that it's turn 7 and it's kind of a value engine. So are we going to be able to get to turn 7 in a Viego deck where it's kind of control-y, right? Shadow Isles definitely has the means, and we have a lot of new spells, I think, and units that are going to help us get there, specifically with Drain. So like, it's really, for me, a crapshoot whether or not this is going to be an included card in this archetype. I can see the synergy. I see why it could be powerful, but it is coming out late. Are we going to be able to get to late game? Are we able to get value out of the Invasive Hydrovine? And yeah, I mean, I see where it's going, but again, kind of the theory is nothing like how the gameplay and meta could potentially force us to play Viego. So we'll have to wait and see. It's definitely an interesting card, and these Encroaching Mists could get out of hand really, really fast. Not to mention, like, you could, when you at the round start, right, if you haven't summoned something with Viego and Viego's out, you can attack with the Encroaching Mist, and then another one will be summoned once that one dies. So, and then it can just die at the end of the round and count towards Viego's level up. So just keep that in mind. This is also like an engine for Viego's ability too. All right, let's move on to this next one. A 5-cost card, Withering Mist. Drain 2 from 2 enemies. So this is a 5-cost slow speed spell, and this kind of reminds me, just vaguely, it's a little bit of Grasp of the Undying. However, there are a couple main differences. I mean, they both are 5 mana, but the Grasp is a fast speed spell, so you can use it during combat. Withering Mist is a slow speed spell. They're both draining. This one drains 1 more but between 2 enemies, and Grasp of the Undying targets only 1 for 3. So this is dealing 4 and also healing 4. and Grasp is dealing 3 and healing 3. So kind of similar to that. This can target 2 enemies, which has its downsides as well because the damage is spread out a little bit more. If you've got weaker units, then maybe this is better. Depending on the meta, this could be better than Grasp, but yeah, again, it's hard to say. This is a slow speed spell. Typically speaking, slow speed spells don't do very well, but I think in this archetype you probably could play this. Now, the reason why I say that is because we have things like Despair. We have things like these new dragons that were revealed where they're striking your Nexus, where you can deal kind of self damage to your Nexus to help level up Viego and to help get your units out. And so maybe these drain cards are going to be very important to heal your Nexus, and will have to be included in the deck. So that's where the Withering Mist could go. Like it's a little bit hard to say, and like I said, typically slow speed spells aren't as good as fast speed, and there generally are not a lot of good slow speed spell options in Legends of Runeterra that are actually played in decks. So we'll have to wait and see kind of how the deck shapes up and if we're going to need a lot of draining to keep our Nexus health alive. All right, let's move on here to Detective Swapbot. So this is a 4-cost, a 4/3 from Piltover Zone with a very interesting ability. Play, swap my stats with another unit. So this does not say swap my stats with another allied follower or enemy follower or enemy champion. This is with anything on both sides of the board, champions and followers, is unless they end up changing the text. This can be used on a champion, this is really interesting. So for a couple of reasons, because you get good value playing this card on a allied champion that has less stats than this. So for example, you could play this on Fizz, you could play it on Teemo, you could play it on Zoe, you could play it on Lucian. You could, there's a lot of champions that have a worse stat line than the Detective Swapbot that you can use this on and potentially power up a champion, a cheaper champion. Now, on the flip side of that, you can use it on an enemy champion as well, but you're typically going to be using that on champions that come out later and have more attack than your Detective Swapbot. So like a Darius or a Sejuani or a Tryndamere if anyone ever plays that. Aurelion Sol if the spell shield is popped. So this could be a very interesting card that could brick out opponents really hard with their champions, and that's super funny. Is it a meme card? Maybe, but this seems like a super fun card to play, to be honest. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that you're going to be able to do with Detective Swapbot that the enemy is just not going to have any idea how to deal with. And yeah, I really like the potential to make your cheaper champions better, than also as a tech card for heavy hitting champions on the enemy side of the board. So I could see this being played in like I said, a Teemo, Zoe, Fizz, cheap unit deck. Super fun. Looks like a super entertaining card and also a fun card to build decks around. All right, let's move on to the last card here, the Frightened Ibex. When I'm supported, give me my supporting ally +1/+1 this round. Give me and my supporting ally. So this is very similar to the Flower Child, and then the 3-cost card from Ionia as well, the support card where it gets health and attack if it's supporting and supported. This is an interesting card for the archetype. They were trying to make Taric a little bit stronger by buffing Mountain Sojourners and Taric this last patch, and I did try a deck with it. You guys should go check that out. This is an interesting card, I think, that allows us to potentially build decks in Targon without Ionia, giving us more support options outside of the Ionia Targon combo, and I really like that. Adding cards to existing archetypes that allows us to experiment in other regions is always great. So is this card good? It seems okay. As a 1/2, it becomes a 2/3. It's a temporary buff. So Flower Child is Grant, so that one's permanent. This one is only temporary. And I mean, it does go quite a bit ways to help our units survive. However, it does have to be on a ally with support. So I mean, you're not going to be able to use this on just on turn 2 with any random unit. That is the downside. Now, maybe we are going to have to include Ionia still, but I mean, is this card better than Flower Child? Probably not. If you're running Flower Child, you're probably in like a Demacia Ionia deck anyway, and that one's just better. If you're playing Targon Ionia, then I think you probably still just include Flower Child as it is granted those stats, and you're running something like Young Witch, which is elusive and doesn't really have to care about its health stat a whole lot. Anyway, kind of hard to evaluate this card. As I said, it is fun to have new cards included into existing archetypes to kind of further them and also make them a little bit better and playable outside the region. So that's why I'm mostly excited about this one, and I'll have to make a deck to even see if it's viable or even worth playing over other support cards. Anyway, that's it for today. Which ones are interesting to you? I really like the Defective Swapbot. This is a super interesting card. Invasive Hydrovine and Withering Mist, we're going to have to wait to see how good they are. At first glance, Invasive Hydrovine looks pretty solid, but we'll have to wait and see. More question about Withering Mist, and then Frightened Ibex seems to be a experimental card for me before I fully know if it's going to be good for the support archetype. But anyway, yeah, you guys can leave a comment which card you're excited to build decks around. Did I miss anything? Where do you see Defective Swapbot landing? What kind of deck would you like to build him around? And yeah, that should be it. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you tomorrow. Thanks.